Magazines, 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 magazines. Hi, I'm Fritz from the Fritz ShootZ channel, and today I'm going over my magazines and what exactly they represent here. These are two magazines staggered. I usually like to do that with all my 22 LR rifles. Basically, once you do that, you can take this out of the gun after you fire your 10 rounds, just flip it around, pop it in, and fire another 10. Or you can go with the 25 rounder, which was the absolute worst thing in the world for this particular rifle I'm going to mention today. This is a Pro Mag, and most of what Pro Mag makes is pretty much toilet material. Why are we really here today? Well, the MARLIN 795. This is a 22 LR magazine-fed 10-round rifle, and which boasts the MARLIN micro grooves, and we'll talk about that because they back that up. We're going to go right ahead and talk about magazines for this gun and accuracy and my personal story with this gun, and that's what this video is about. So stay tuned, stick around, because it's going to get pretty fun. Are we having fun yet, kids? Shall I get my fucking party hat on? Here it is, the MARLIN 795. This is literally my favorite gun. Why is it my favorite gun? Because it's my first rifle. It is a great first rifle. Unfortunately, it is no longer in production, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but right now I'm just going to give a quick overview. I'm not going to take down the gun right now. I'm just going to talk about it. These are not, once again, the videos I'm doing right now are not takedown videos in this little series I'm doing, but they are just going over certain firearms. They're highlighting them. This one deserves highlighting because it is, first of all, the most accurate gun I've ever shot, hands down. If anyone's ever shot a Marlin 60 or a 795, you know what I'm talking about. Unmatched when it comes to convenience, price, accuracy. It had Ruger beat in every single fashion. So Ruger, the sports that they are, what do? They bought Marlin. And they discontinued this gun. And the Ruger 1022s that were going for $199 immediately went up to $299. Fuck you, Ruger. Fuck you. That's a dirty, dirty fucking move. Most firearm manufacturers have to prove themselves because most of them are scumbags. We'll go over that one in another video too. Very, very livid about that. But yeah, they basically monopolized the 22 LR market and killed the competition because it was more accurate. It was cheaper. This was selling for about $165 when Ruger's cheapest offering was about $199, $189 if you could find a sale. And that changed literally overnight as soon as this gun was no longer in production. So yeah, I have a little bit of a gripe with that. One of my favorite features about this gun, believe it or not, is the stock. I like this skinny old 22 stock. I love the way it feels. When I'm firing a 22 LR, I like to have a skinny little stock. Skinny little stock. The Rossi has the Monte Carlo stock. It's very thick up front. She's very thick up front, which is what a lot of my viewers would probably appreciate. Speaking of thick up front, you'd find that in a dirty magazine, wouldn't you? Well, you wouldn't find it in this dirty magazine. This is the proprietary magazine for the MARLIN 795, which is no longer in production. Ruger. Little do they know that if they release it again, they could probably charge $250 for it. Hint, hint. At least get it back out there, man. Shit. Recently, I found one of the actual MARLIN 795 magazines, brand new in the package. So it basically was sitting on a shelf for at least 2 years, but that's okay with me because it works absolutely perfectly. At least as good as the original. It looks like it was made slightly better than the original, but I done staggered it and made it my little 10 stack, so we like that. My double 10 stack, we'll call it. So that is the magazine that I do for this gun. I'm not going to insert a magazine because, you know, YouTube gun porn, right? So it usually sits, let's say I hold it back here, it usually sits about there. So it's not really sticking out too far out of the gun. I just flip that around when you're done, and once you'd insert it, you can imagine how the insert would look, and that's pretty much how far down it sits. That's what you really see. And you could go for the goofy 25 rounders, but these are Pro Mags, and these are shit. They all function a little weird. I had 3 of these at one point. 2 that function, and they function very badly. One's worse than the other, and the other one is just a piece of crap. So this magazine, again, I'm not going to insert the magazine because it's YouTube gun porn. So I'm just going to hold this up. We're going to hold this right around the area where it would normally kind of be there. So I'm holding it behind the gun. And yeah, it hangs down pretty low. Even with bulk 22 ammo, I was able to consistently get quite a few strikes on steel at 1,000 feet. And yeah, I can back that up too. There's a video of that. Look on my channel. So what we got a little chamber flag in here because we like to be safe. Safety is what it's all about. Anyway, let me take this little flag out. We're clear. I'm going to hold this open, and it might not be that bright, but take my word for it. Yeah, see that? There we go, it's clear. So anyway, this gun has this little feature where you, just like the Rossi, or if you have a Mossberg 702 Plankster, same as the Rossi RS-22, hold it back, push that in, and you have a hold open, right? That's how you can just manually hold it open. And this disengages. But when you put a magazine in the gun and it's still held open, use that thumb advance lever, I call it. But anyway, you can throw it forward with that little lever and you're good to go. And we're not here to break down guns. We're not here to talk about terminologies. We're just here to talk accuracy and history of this particular firearm. This gun is very, very accurate, as it's proved time and time again, and will probably prove time and time again thanks to the cunning instinct of my gunsmith. Gunsmithing. Well, this brings me to my next sponsor. This video is sponsored by me, because I'm my own gunsmith, because I don't have any money. That's why I shoot inexpensive guns. This thing is quite an animal. It's consistently accurate. Flyers, if you get a really bad ammo, you'll get a flyer, but this thing, for some reason, doesn't really like to produce flyers. But just holding this offhand, haven't shot the gun in about 2 years. The groups I was able to hit consistently with just the stock sights, which are very difficult to see in the range, I didn't expect any results, but man, I got them. Yeah, that's all I can really say about that, is that the gun is pretty accurate. I am going to talk about the history of this particular firearm. Emantha and I went to get our first .22 rifle back in 2015. And we went to a sports shop, a chain, the Walmart of gun stores and sporting equipment, and not going to even give them a mention. They sold us this rifle for like 169 bucks, and at the time it was actually kind of a decent price for it. There were places you get them cheaper. There were places that had more expensive. We got it at this price, and we were happy with that. So we went right to the desert with our newfound anything we can get our hands on .22 ammo. If you remember what it looked like in 2015, it was pretty bad. So we got just about any .22 LR we could, and this thing cycled it. So hooray to this gun, and very accurate with just about every round. You get used to where everything hits, but it really is, I don't know, it's kind of a bull barrel and very, very accurate. The bullets are content with their trajectory as they leave the barrel, let's put it that way. So they'll be pretty consistent. This gun and I have been through a lot, and one day something very bad happened to this gun. This gun was broken until recently. Some scumbag gun part place. Bunch of numbnuts. You see where I'm going? Numrick gun parts. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Thank you very much for never getting back to me, you dirty, street-side gutter scumbags. We have better words for you, but I'll try and keep it clean, even though this is an adult gun channel. It's not a family channel, I don't think. I would hope not. But as long as the kids are of age to hear the foul language that spews out of my mouth. So yeah, Numrick gun parts. I got a recoil spring for the Marlin 795. And this thing shows up, and they must have made it themselves and didn't do any work on the, heat treating it or anything like that. Because after one range visit, after shooting just regular high velocity ammo that would just normally barely run the slide on any old .22 once it was dirty, firing this gun completely clean with this new spring in it, it worked great for a couple of rounds, and all of a sudden it started hiccuping and acting weird and feeling weird. Then it wouldn't shoot at all. And alright, I was like, 20 rounds in, 30 rounds in, I was doing good, and then all of a sudden the last 10, it took a shit. A big one, a big Thanksgiving one. So I opened up the gun, and it was a mess. It was shattered in parts. There were pieces of my receiver falling out into my hand, and it's like looking down and seeing your teeth in your hand. This is my gun, man. This is my first gun, my baby. This poor gun was shitting pieces out, and half of a recoil spring and a bent guide rod falls into my hand. And I'm like, anything else? I got the other piece of the spring out, and it was completely... Actually, the spring was kind of broken in 3 places. It was inside itself like a dog dick on a winter day. The guide rod was fucking bent. How does that happen? It was bent in spots where it looks like it wasn't even heat treated. It was like, it looked like it was stretched and then constricted, and then it looked like some of the coils held. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Did they intentionally like sabotage my gun? So I went nuts trying to fix this gun, didn't have the knowledge on how to do so, and it basically sat in the closet for years. I reached out to them to get back to them for a resolve, even just a refund for the spring. Never got back to me, and I kept my mouth shut for years, so I'm going to say this right now. Hey, numbnuts, fuck you. You shit and everyone knows it. A lot of videos to come on a lot of other people's channels who are tired of it as well, so drop the bomb, bitches. Do bad business, get bad reviews. Fuck you. But anyway, on a lighter note, I recently discovered new technologies to make things a little bit more workable, and wound up repairing the receiver of this gun. It's amazing what you can do with some low temperature welding and a rolled up piece of tin can and coat hanger or whatever kind of steel I had on hand. Actually, I did have a replacement piece of steel the same size as the original guide rod. In fact, mine seems to fit a spring a bit better. Plenty of room without the slack, so it seemed the springs are very happy on there. I finally got the guide rod straight because the piece that was missing, I was able to roll up a little piece of tin can and pop it on the edge of my guide rod and stick it in the hole there that was left over from the smash job. So fast forward to when I decided to take a little piece of tin can and make the receiver a little bit more robust in that area, where I built back sort of what was broken in it. Again, because of gun porn, I don't think I could show you what I did at this time, but yeah, this gun was Ghetto Gunsmith. My High Point 995 I Ghetto Gunsmith, that was in pieces in a bag that was completely non-functioning. If I could only find the video of that gun. You'd pull the trigger like the safety was on, and you'd look at it, and it would just fire randomly with your finger off the trigger. That's what the High Point was doing, so that was knocked down to the actual spring, all the way down to the very last pieces. And one day I just got really bored, put it back together, and the gun has been functioning flawlessly, especially after, especially after polishing the sear. That's another video. We'll go over that one too. There was also a Phoenix HP22A, and everyone knows those shatter boxes. Basically, the frame, the receiver, they crack to the point where they'll pop in 2 pieces and fly off the gun. Or they'll just jam up and stop firing altogether, or the firing pin, in my case, firing pin was no longer striking because it was just on too much of an angle. The slide was cracked and it was crooked, and thank God it didn't go off anymore because it probably would have blew back in my face. Anyway, I got a new slide and I fixed the frame myself. So yeah, there's a couple of fun little videos coming up. I think I might be able to get away with putting them on YouTube. We'll see. Got to look over the rules, because we got rules now. Check out. So basically, this is my favorite 22 LR rifle, and it's been through hell and back. It's been assaulted by numbnuts gun parts. Don't use them. It's been assaulted by people trying to assault the Second Amendment. It's been assaulted by Ruger. Its bloodline was killed off. Ruger is the Empire, and Marlin was Alderaan. Here's little Leia. Bye-bye. The only one left. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. This gun died because Ruger killed off its bloodline. That's what happened. Alright? So, you can do with that what you want. Nine! Don't talk shit about Ruger! I don't care if you're my favorite big business or my least favorite. If you're a scumbag, you'll be called out for it. So, fuck you. More faithful, fun content coming up next. If you look at the earlier videos on my channel, all the old 22 stuff, until about, I guess, 2018, 2019, yeah, about 2018 is when I got the Rossi. Most of, if not all of the 22 LR stuff from my channel was all this gun. Completely a pleasure to shoot, very accurate, good to teach someone to shoot on. There's a lot of practicality to it, there's a lot of durability to it. When someone actually uses the correct parts. When someone actually sells you the correct parts. You're not off the hook. This thing took a good 5-year nap. I only got to use this thing for about 3 years out of the 8 that I've owned it. Thanks, Numrich. You pieces of shit. Oh, did I mention another thing numbnuts did? A friend of mine ordered a gun spring from them. They took his money, but they never sent him the spring. Fuck you, filth. yeah, so this gun never got a sling because, well, I wasn't into putting slings on rifles when this thing was functioning. And now that it functions again, I'm going to have to look into that because it's got nice little plastic sling holes. They're thick. They're robust. They're robust. I love the word robust. The barrel and these little things, the only thing robust on this gun. This thing is pretty streamlined. This thing's real thin and light. It's got bulky metal parts within it, and the barrel's heavy. That's where all the weight really is contained. The stock is pretty light. Everything else is really just, I mean, this is all polymer trigger guard, and I think the trigger is metal, and everything else underneath is polymer in that little group there. Your springs, everything else within the gun is all metal. So yeah, one of the last metal guns that was out there. Everything's all polymer now. And that has its downside, as I will go over in one of my next Rossi videos. I mean, I'm not going to hate the Marlins that Ruger's releasing right now, because they were actually Marlins. Just the lever actions, and I don't know what else. Maybe a few hunting rifles. I don't know. I haven't. Once I heard they discontinued this, I just threw up. I just shit out of my neck. This is my favorite fucking gun, man. You gonna tell me I can't get it anymore? And this was the only one I had broke? Oh, fuck you with the fuck you with numbnuts' stolen dick and blame it on the family dog. How's that? So anyway, I'm gonna pack this video up before I lose my smile. If you see a Rossi RS-22 or a Savage 64, and you can get it for like less than 130 bucks, get the gun, because Ruger's probably just gonna wind up buying their lineup anyway. Oh, who makes your 22s? Which division? Really? We'll give you $1 billion for it. We sell the 64F now, but it's gonna be 300 bucks. Ruger. Numbnuts. A lot of whores in the business. A lot of smelly whores, and we can smell you out. We don't spend money on smelly whores. Take a bath, smelly whore. Marlin, $7.95. What a wonderful gun it was. I miss it. I love it. Mwah! And I'm gonna go clean my mouth now. It's a dirty gun and cancer risk. Right. So that's the end of the video. You made it there. I made it there. Did we make it there? I think we did. And we have the Marlin 795, my literal favorite gun. It got me into target shooting in the first place. Regular iron sights. Easily good up to 1,000 feet. Iron sights. Just these things. Just remember, at 1,000 feet, 18 to 21 feet, depending on the ammo you're using. Windage. Bye. Ooh. Yay, fun. Let's get out of this. Yeah. Home on the range. Bitches.